guys. Been a minute since we've done a morning Facebook Live. So anyway, I have such a big long day ahead of me. But I was reading Teresa's post this morning about, about like the I don't wannas and like I get it. Oh, boy, did I get it. Oh, look who's here to visit us. Good morning, Louie. Louie, say good morning to the Facebook group. Say hi, BWS Warriors. Anyway, it's Louie. He's just doing his thing outside. I was reading that post and boy, did I relate, because it's an interesting thing, the I don't wannas, right? Like, I don't want to use a skill. And I just, I don't want to stop eating at night after I'm done with dinner. And I don't want to, whatever. I get it. Marsha Linehan, one of my great teachers who is the founder of DBT, of Dialectical Behavioral Therapy. The I don't wannas, of which, I still can be a big sufferer of those for sure. Marsha would call I don't wanna willful, right? And I love that, and especially those of you guys who participate in a spiritual fellowship. It actually makes a lot of sense in a spiritual fellowship kind of way. Because, when we're willful, it's like we're full of our own will, right? We're full of our own beliefs and we're full of our own ideas, and not the kind I was writing about in the Sunday Love Letter, right? We're full of our fear and we're full of our old ideas that sort of keep us sick, willful, full of that will that we're trying to sort of adjust, move, change, and let go of. Because the opposite of willful, I don't know if you know this, is willing. Willing is like that, palms open, yes, I'll try it. It's that brave, it's really that brave stance that, we all want. Don't do it perfectly, but that we all want for sure. It's kind of like the end game, right? It's the wisdom. It's getting into our wisdom. And, it may feel in the moments when we're sitting there and saying, well, I don't want to call somebody and I don't want to try a skill. And, I just want to eat my cake in peace. I want to put this out there, as your coach and as your bestie. Like, it's not true. It's not true. And Marsha has this great question. I love it. Marsha has this great question, which is, when we are feeling willful, we need to ask ourselves, what's the threat? What is the threat to me being willing? I love that question. And the funny thing, since we are talking about abusive relationships, we are maybe, if you're in this house, we are maybe talking about addiction. We are, to sugar and to flour. You have to put that in somewhere, right? You have to put the idea that you struggle with this pull to sugar and this pull to flour that's really big. And in the beginning, sometimes even bigger than your willingness. Like, it's like the data on willpower says, willpower is about 15 minutes long, which is why we need a lot of other skills. It's why we need a lot of support. It's why we need a lot of help in getting this done. It's why this group is so amazing. By the way, 900 members strong. I can remember the day I got so excited that we had 100 members, and it was only like 4 months ago. I'm so honored to be with you guys. So we want to ask ourselves, what is the threat? And so the other thing, so that we want to sort of remember, a lot of you guys are not so deep in, right? We're in the 180 days, really, and so, sugar's going to have its pull. The old well-worn snow groove of our old behaviors, they show up, they pull, and it's why, it's literally why I wrote 2 chapters of the book about skills and why they're so important. And the other thing is, I think about when I, coach, when I talk to every single clinician that works for me every week. So I get to listen to a lot of cases. I get to listen to a lot of what's going on in the therapy at Beacon. And, when I hear stories about, my clinicians are asking me like, oh, what would you do here? What do you think about this case? I'm just simply ask this question, which is, well, what's their why? Right? Like, Do you know their why? Do they know their why? Are they very certain? Are they grounded in why they're doing this? I think Amy posted something on Teresa's post that kind of said this. Like, I think it's important that you know exactly why you're doing this. The thing is, like, because sugar is a great seducer. I mean, I get it. I was like in such an abusive relationship with sugar for like 30 years, you know, and it was like, no, it's no big deal. I mean, and by the way, granola is my gateway drug. I mean, I have been able, even in my recovery from time to time, been able to create rationalize around granola. I don't know what it is, but man, does that like oat molasses situation like can get me to lie to myself and break promises and all these things. That is not it's not the peaceful, loving, integrity-based life that I have signed up for with food. And so, you know, this idea, like, there are parts in this book, like, I know me, like, I would be like, yeah, just like get me to the food plan. Like, I just want to be skinny. Like, I'll read the other parts later. But here's the thing, my loves, the other parts of this book, right? The parts about the skills, the parts about the core values, the parts about the why, the parts about the writing the letter to sugar. These are actually where the solidifying skills live. And it's where the willingness comes from, right? Willingness comes from understanding the true nature of this thing so that you can surrender to this new way of life, right? Or that you can offer it up and say, I can't do this anymore, right? Having these skills in place. And you know, the skill I think is the most important, right? Power circle, power circle, power circle, power circle. And, you know, I know for me, like when I wasn't getting it, like I had to like trade in my small little power circle for a bigger one. And some of it with people who I had to hire, right? But I got into the 12-step fellowship. I got into group therapy. I just went like anywhere that I could find help, because I was struggling so much and I like needed to get well. I mean, I was also like an eating disorders therapist binging at work, so may that not be the case for any of you. You know, and then I think that part about your why and your core values, and like, you know, the thing is, like, we talked about this in and I'm going to end, you know, I'm talking so much. We talked about this so much in my drop-in group last Tuesday about being all in, you know, and because when we have this scale obsession and we're like, oh my God, and I didn't lose enough weight, and it's like we trusting this process, which is hard, my loves, especially with all the diet drama and trauma that so many of us come with, right? Be fully trusting this process, stepping in with both feet, with no reservations. Like, this is where the magic happens. And so the question Marcia asks, you know, what's the threat? Like, my question would be like, what's the threat to you being all in? Like, give it 66 days of being all in, and then you can go back to your old life if you want, right? Like, I pinky swear, but like give the thing a chance, which means all the book, all the exercises, all the skills, really contributing in Facebook, really giving it like a try. Because the worry that I always get is that we make the breaking up with sugar plan, you know, this new lifestyle and this like recovery into a diet that has failed us. And I don't know where we go from there. And I believe in you wholeheartedly, and I want you to get this, and I want you to have all the freedom. I want you to have it for you, and I want you to have it so you can help other people. Like, that's our mission, right? That's our mission here, right? We support each other through this beautiful process and create these like amazing relationships with food and with ourselves, and frankly with, you know, the divine, with something bigger. And that's the deal. So the question I want to ask you is, you know, when you're feeling willful, what's the threat? And like, also, what would it feel like to be all in? And I'll ask you this, you're smart as anything, you know, what would it look like? You know, what would you do differently if you were all in? What would you do differently? I mean, these are some serious journal prompts, my love. So anyway, journal prompts, leave me some comments below. Like, I want to know so badly. So answer these questions today. You know, if you're feeling willful, what's the threat? But more importantly, you know, what would it be like to be all in? And what would it take? What would you need to change about your current level of BUWS, of breaking up with sugar, to really be all in? I promise you can go back to sugar, you know, after 66 days, go back to sugar. Just be like, it's not working. That's great. But to not give it a chance, my loves, a full all-in chance, is to treat it like a diet. And we know diets fail. And by all-in chance, I mean the letter, the skills, the core values, the what, the whole, the reaching out, the using of the skills, the whole sugar-free, fiber-free enchilada. This is the deal. Okay. I mean, it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. I know I've plowed you with, sometimes I'm just up early and I have a lot to say. Thank you for inspiring me. Like, these posts inspire me. Teresa, you inspire me. Jess, you inspire me. Like, we inspire each other. That's what we do together. That's why this group is full of love and magic. I believe in you. I love you. If nobody's told, I mean, I know it's really early, but if no one's told you that they love you today, I love you. And I love you so much. Allie, I can't wait to hear all about it. Yeah. Connection is the thing. Connection is the opposite of addiction. I'm telling you, side note, and then I'll go. But last night, I went to a socially distanced dinner with 2 of my very best friends who are in my spiritual fellowship around food. And you guys, like, I hardly needed to eat. I was so full from being with them. Oh my goodness. Talk about nourishment and nurturing. You guys are doing amazingly. I love you so much. I'm going to go get ready for my day. I'm so glad I got to start it with you. Mwah. Hey, leave me comments. Need the comments. Love you.